Welcome to our exploration of the captivating and enigmatic fire mummies of the Philippines. Join us as we unravel the mysteries and secrets surrounding this ancient practice that has intrigued historians and explorers for centuries. In this video, we delve into the fascinating world of fire mummies and uncover the profound cultural significance. Stay tuned as we take a journey into the intriguing history of this exceptional phenomenon. If you are as intrigued as we are by the secrets of the fire mummies, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell to join us of captivating cultural phenomena. Mummification was practiced in the Philippines only on those able to prove the loss of baby tooth. The baby tooth represented youth. Losing them illustrates wisdom gained in their mouth. It also portrayed the journey of maturity. Dying without losing baby tooth was a sign of someone who never reached their full potential. Once you lose and grow your first grill, the second time you lose the tooth, it is time to go. That's because they were given a chance of proper dental hygiene. The cave containing the mummies were untouched until the 19th century. The heat and the humidity of the island made mummification difficult to perform in much of the Philippines. However, the widespread practice of mummification existed in Benguet and in a higher and cooler altitude of the Philippines. Studying the mummies reveals information about the rituals and social structure of the tribes that practiced mummification. For instance, mummification was intended for leaders and individuals that are from higher social ranks of the tribe. In northern Luzon, mummification is prevalent in Cordilleras, significantly in Benguet, Afugio, and Mountain Province. The most well-known example are the fire mummies in Kabayan and Benguet. There are over 200 remains located in Timber Cave, which were made by the tribe between 1200 CE and 1500 CE. The process of Kabayan mummification is unique in that the internal organs are not removed from the corpse, as opposed to other traditions of mummification where internal organs are removed, such as Egyptian mummification. Smoking the dead is reportedly practiced more recently of people of Papua in New Guinea. This difference has helped generate public interest in the fire mummies in the form of tourism to Timbuk Cave and various viral internet media on the topic. Under Presidential Decree number 374, the mummy caves were named Philippine National Cultural Treasures. There is no written record of the Kabayan mummification process. However, a description of the process have been maintained in oral tradition. Despite the cessation of Kabayan mummification occurring centuries ago, the introduction of Christianity is believed to have stopped the practice of mummification as it goes against Christian belief. Despite this, some groups in Cordilleras region still practice the drying of dead bodies, but not the full mummification process. Only the elite in Ibalio are mummified. The elites are people who own vast expanses of land. The higher ranking the individual was within society, the longer the funeral practices and wake lasted before being put in the final resting place. Thus, mummification is a prestigious practice to the people. The mummification process begins with oral administration of a hypertonic saline solution, commonly known as salt water, to the dying tribe member. Indigestion of this solution acts as laxation by shifting the fluid into the intestine. This laxation effect flushes remain feces from the colon while causing dehydration, which is necessary to the mummification process. Flushing the colon results in substantial depletion of the gut flora, thus impairing the onset of the internal tissue destructive bacteria. Furthermore, tissue dehydration helps impair tissue destruction caused by beneficial bacteria which has colonized the person throughout their life. The process is identified as being parallel to the Egyptians who placed their corpse in a tube of salt to encourage dehydration. After that, the corpse is cleansed and rubbed with herbs. Tobacco smoke is then blown into the mouth of the corpse to help dehydrate internal organs and prevent insect infestation. A small fire is lit beside the corpse to enhance dehydration and prevent insect infestation. As insects are viral component of normal corpse decomposition, the corpse is then secured in flower positions via ceremonial scraps of blankets. To a death chair Community elders then remove the epidermis. Finally, juice from the leaves of native plant is applied to the freshly exposed dermis. A fire is lit beneath the corpse to smoke it. While it sits on a death chair, guava branch smoke is preferred. The body fluids drains throughout the process and are collected in a jar. The smoking process can last days to months to even a year, depending on how extreme the person was before death. Following the completion of the mummification ritual, the corpse is placed in a wooden coffin in a fatal position, sometimes placed in the same coffin as family members, which is buried in a cave. The corpse would then mummify over the course of months or years. Those who look for them are still able to find century-old mummies with intact body parts, tattoos among others, which means the means of preservation were very effective. Mummification in the Philippines provides evidence of tattoo practice in several regions of the Philippines. Many groups of the Igorots in the Cordilleras region on the island of Luzon practiced tattooing for centuries. The Central Mountain Provincial Igorots used salt from the bottom of olas as tattoo pigment. One method of tattoo use was the puncture and cut method utilized by Batok people. Many caves throughout the Kabayan region are said to contain fire mummies. However, human remains have only been discovered in a handful of these caves. It is suspected that Kabayan locals are unwilling to disclose the actual location of other dead bodies known as mummies due to widespread looting by private collectors and locals. It is alleged that some locals use nails and fingers of fire mummies as talismans. The mummy of a cherished tribal icon known as Apa Onu was stolen from its original resting place in 1918. The mummy was displayed as an exhibit in the Manila Circus before being purchased by an antique collector. The mummy was donated to the National Museum in 1984. The National Museum agreed to return the mummy to its resting village in 1999 under the condition that Benguet officials take steps to protect Apa Ono from potential theft. These protective measures include installing an iron barrier to the opening of his burial cave and appropriation of government funds to maintain the site. The return Apa Ono was one of the great cultural significance to its people. As such, an animal sacrificial ceremony was carried out to cleanse the village prior to returning Apa Ono back to its proper resting place. The villagers believed that the return of Ono would bring a good fortune and prosperity to the region by lifting an 80-year-old curse of earthquakes and poor crop yield in the region. Looting and vandalism of Kabayan burial caves began in the early 90s and peaked in the 1970s. As of 1999, roughly 80 mummies are believed to be missing from the region. Due to the cultural significance of returning ancestors to their burial caves, the Philippine government and World Monument Watch began site conservation efforts in 1990s. The Kabayan Mummy Cave is proclaimed under Presidential Decree PD 327 as part of the Philippine Natural Cultural Treasures, which states that preservation, protection, and maintenance of the site be ensured for future generation as a manifestation and ingenuity associated with the religious belief about the culture and the tradition of the people. But in the Philippines, there are very special mummies. The mummies can be found in timbak caves. These differ from the ones we have seen before, especially the way they were conserved is unique. Not a haunted or creepy place this time, but a pretty interesting one. Fire mummies, as they are called, were created between 1200 and 1200 AD, but some claim that the first mummies conserved 200 years before Christ. Fire mummies is not the only name used for them. They are also known as Kabayan and Benguet mummies. They were members of the Ilobio tribe. The location of the mummies is secret because they were stolen in the beginning of this century. The site is still not secured, but is quite questionable because the mummies are now in UNESCO's list. If you want to visit the mummies, you have a long journey ahead of you. First, you have to drive up to the Kabayan mountains. Then you have a 4-hour hike ahead of you to reach the Timbak caves. Your reward is 50 to 80 mummies in wooden boxes. None of the mummies are buried with expensive possessions. Sadly, grave diggers are interested in the mummies themselves. It is the mummification process that makes the fire mummies so special. The mummification already started before the person died. The dying received a very salty drink to drink. After the person dies, the body was washed and placed in a sitting position. Then it was roasted over the fire. That's how they got their name. The skin was dried this way. Then tobacco smoke was blown into the mouth of the deceased so the intestine can dry. Then the body was rubbed with certain herbs. The whole process could take weeks or even months. After all the steps were taken, the mummy was placed inside his or her own wooden casket. Around the year 1500 AD, the mummification process ended because the Philippines were occupied by the Spanish. Today, you can visit the caves with a guide, but prepare yourself for a tough climb. There is also a museum. Volunteers tell you all about the tribes, the mummification process, and there are some mummies at the museum that you can see. Thank you for joining us on this journey to discover the fascinating tradition of the fire mummies. Your support means the world to us. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share and comment below. Your engagement helps us to bring more incredible stories to light. Stay up to date on our expedition into unique cultural practices. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you can never miss out on the future explorations. Up next, we will be uncovering another captivating piece of history. So stay tuned for more mesmerizing stories on Frank Speaks. Thank you so much for watching this video.